Dear panel, the leader of the opposition seems to mistake this debate for a debate about victim blaming and sexual assault. Now, we would say this. If it were the case that short dresses created more sexual assault, then we on government side would think that women should be encouraged not to wear them. We think that this is an atrocious idea, and we think that it happens not to be true, but they should be encouraged to do so, not because we believe that they are to blame if they are assaulted, but because that would create less sexual assaults. Now, this is not the case for sexual assault, but as I will show you in my first point, it is exactly the case when it comes to our debate. So my first point will be how confirmation bias reinforces racism and bigotry, and my second point will be why specifically the religious leaders should be the ones saying these things. Before that, 2 quick points of rebuttal. So we hear that we should punish the bigot. So firstly, it's completely non-mutually exclusive to the motion, but then secondly we say punishing bigots is not enough, and you haven't shown that it is enough, so we need more things to fight bigotry. Secondly, we hear from them that the vegetarian comparison, let's just get this off the table, vegetarianism is not a religion, and secondly, they don't wear veg yarmulkes, okay? It's not in the motion. Thank you. Okay, into my first point, how confirmation bias reinforces racism. So, in this point, I will explain to you why it is particularly important for minority religions that their religious identity is revealed to majority people after these people have already been exposed to who they are. So, first, I will explain what is confirmation bias. So, that is the known effect when the human mind actively seeks out evidence that will confirm what people already believe while discounting and ignoring all evidence that counter those beliefs. How does that work when it comes to racism and bigotry against minority religions? Firstly, notice that xenophobia is an innate human feature. People are always averse to things that they don't know and don't understand, and people who are foreign to them. That means that the seed for racism exists in all human minds. Specifically, this is true with, say, Europeans or Americans who encounter Muslims for immigrants or Jews for the first time. So now the question remains, is this seed going to flower into full-blown bigotry? So here's the second thing. So if an initial tendency is to feel that people who are different from me are bad or dangerous, people will have confirmation bias to confirm that belief. Now, remember that no group of people can always behave perfectly, okay? They will have good behaviors and bad behaviors. So the majority, if they know that this person is from a minority, they will associate any bad behavior with the entire minority, and then when they see them acting good, they will only they will see it as an isolated incident. So, and this is exactly how confirmation bias creates more bigotry and racism against these groups. Now, and here's the third point, which is most important. What is our comparative? What we want is for people to be to first be exposed to those people without knowing their religion. This is, for example, what happens with religious Christians in the United States, who are the majority, but you don't really know that someone is a religious Christian until you start talking to them about religion. There's nothing about their appearance that tells you that they're religious. And why is that? Why is it that we want them to learn that only after they know that person for some time? This is because by the time that they will learn about this person's religion, they will have already formed some sort of opinion of that person. They will already see that person as an individual. And now they will have much more of a cognitive dissonance if they would want to hate this person on account of, say them being a Muslim. So this person is not just a Muslim for them now. They are people who are also Muslim. So this is important because what I have shown you here is that what confirmation bias does, what's innate to the human mind does, is that if we already know that someone is religious before we formed an opinion about them, we are much more likely to become more racist against that person and against that minority. So this is not like victim blaming. This is like trying to actually find a way to reduce racism and discrimination. Before I continue to my second point about what specifically we want the religious leaders to do it, second half, your extension, please.
If you believe that bigotry and racism comes from interacting with people like Jews or something, how do you explain anti-Semitism in villages and places that don't even have Jews?
No, we say that the seed exists anyway. Okay, people, if they've never met a Jew, they are going to be racist. But then, if they are already somewhat racist or at least xenophobic, and then they meet the Jew, and they will look for all the signs to see, oh yeah, he really is greedy. Oh yeah, he really is trying to control things around him, and that will reinforce racism and make it worse. Again, flowering some xenophobia into full-blown bigotry. So, to my second point, why specifically the religious leaders? So, there are two sources that can tell people not to wear yarmulkes and hijabs. So, either the state will do it, like in the case of France banning the hijab, or the religious leaders can do it. Why do we want the religious leaders to do this? Firstly, because people listen to their religious leader. They identify them with the deity, they identify them with the religion, and they are much more likely to listen to them. Secondly, because these groups, who are minorities, have some sort of animosity towards the government. They already feel that the government might be against them, might be discriminating against them, and if the government tells them, don't wear the yarmulkes, even if it's for their own good, they're going to become more hostile towards the government. And then thirdly, we hear this point about extremism. But what we tell you, which is very important, is that extremism happens because of bigotry. It happens because people see that the majority, say Muslims in France, see that they are being discriminated against. And since we've shown you in my previous point that bigotry is going to be lessened, we think that it is an important point. So, the religious people will do the right thing, but they will not only do the right thing, they will do it they will be much less likely to begrudge doing the right thing. What we have shown you is that it's not important to show religion in public, and that in the cases of these groups, it's actually harmful, and for these reasons, we call on you to propose.